Namaste and good morning to you, sir. Okay, let us start. Good morning, dear students, and a warm welcome to Samhita Tattva Vichara, a virtual Gurukulam and a predecessor to a real Gurukulam with Swargiya Padma Shri P.R. Krishnakumarji's vision in mind. The program is organized by Aashirwad Health and Education Trust, supported by the Ayurveda Pharmacy Coimbatore Limited. It was Krishnakumarji's vision to prachar Ayurveda for everyone who seeks the knowledge. He wished to establish the lost Gurukula Sampradaya and to bring back the glorious days of Ayurvedic education. We are committed to his vision. Let's take a moment to pranam the memories of our Guruji. Today we are continuing Charaka Samhita Sutraasthana with the Guru Vaidya Ishwara Sharma. He is the former principal of VPSV Ayurveda College, Kottakkal, having a teacher career experience of 30 years in the field of Ayurveda. He is a renowned clinician and academician with a special interest in Kaya Chikitsa and Manasika Roga. He took MD in Kaya Chikitsa and he has decorated many honorable positions like former Dean of Faculty of Ayurveda, University of Calicut, former member of Board of Studies, Faculty of Kerala University, PhD Registration Committee, Rajiv Gandhi University, Bangalore, faculty member in Amrita School of Ayurveda, Kollam. He has received awards for distinguished service from the Director of Ayurveda Medical Education, Kerala, and honored for service in psychiatry by Nimhans, Bangalore. He is presently the principal in PNNM Ayurveda College, Cherudurthi, and member Board of Studies, PG in Kerala University of Health Sciences, and as Kaya Chikitsa and Manasika Roga Chikitsa consultant at Sandhanam, Kottakkal. We are honored to have you with us, sir. It's a pleasure. Thank you for joining Samhita Tattva Vichara.
Thank you. First of all, I express my thanks to Aashirwad Health and Education, sponsored by Ayurveda Pharmacy, and in memory of great Krishnakumarji, Tattva Vichara, and all the organizers and my dear friends. Today's chapter given is Vividhashita Pitiya. Before that, let us do one prayer. Chandam Vatmasanastham Sashidharamagutam Banjavakram Netram Sulam Vajnakam Parachamapedam Dakshabhagya Vakandam Nagam Vasundakandam Tangusham Vamabhage Sarvalangar Gittam Skadigamam Bhavati. Today's topic is actually very important, and also currently we are going through the pandemic of this COVID-19. It is actually we could not find any solution so far, although we are claiming that we have achieved and all. But these are all the things which is coming from our day-to-day life habits and all. Today's topic is mainly covered with our food and the method of using it. Universally, many type of food, prepared food and unprepared food, and all the raw type of food, and all these things are available. In India itself, you can see that all the states have their own conservative method of food habits. In preparation also vary, and Ayurvedic philosophy telling that 6 rasas and the annam prana, that is, food is the cause for the survival. So food means from Samhita onwards, from Upanishad to Samhitas, and from Samhitas onwards, we are seeing that Annamayam hi Shariraha, and through that we are getting the health of mind. And again, if you are going to the yoga sutras and all, they are telling that how the food can be taken and how the less quantity of the food will help you for the whole health. And from Annamaya Kosha to Anandamaya Kosha, how we can enter. And many type of thinking, thoughts available in our darshanas, especially Yoga Darshana. Charaka, to certain extent, he has followed the Yoga Darshanas in separate separate chapters and all. Because you know that here, Vividhashita Pidiyam, he is telling that Vibitham Ashidam Pidam Leedham Khadidam Jandor Hidam Andaram Agrisandhuchita Balena Yathasven Oshmana Samyak Vipachyamanam. That means Ashitam Pidam Leedham Khadidam. 4 types of food habits are there. Food can be taken and swallowed, and drinking the fluid type of food. Leedham, the lehanam, licking. The khadidam means with chewing. So 4 type of things they have invented, so that the total gastrointestinal region, we have already studied basically that from buccal cavity to our intestine, there are certain enzymes that will help us to digest. So before that, in oral level itself, what are all the things can be done and how it can be consumed. That is what it is telling. Yathasvena ushmana samyak vipachyamanam. Each and every enzymes which is working for digestion with their own the heat which is providing time to time. That is Kalavad Anavasthita Sarvadhadu Bhagam Anupahata Sarvadhadushma Maruda Srotaha Kevalam Shariram Upajaya Bala Varna Sukhayusha Yojedi Sharira Dhadu Nurjedi Cha Dhadohi Dhatvaharaha Pragridim Anuvaktade. Here the thing is now, we are when Atreya is explaining about the food, he's in this chapter itself, is very briefly explaining that the food which you are consuming, after digestion, what are all the things happening? Prasadi dhadus. Each and every dhadu, their agni is for corresponding agni, through a corresponding agni, the digestion is also happening. Dhatu agni power. We know that Kedarugulya Nyayam, Kapoda, Kalaya Kapoda Nyayam, the Tichira Nyayam, all these Nyayams they have put forward for the Dhatuvagni Paga and all. So different angles they have studied about the digestion. Yet the thing is now how the Rasadi Dhadus are nourishing and how it is becoming Prasadam and Kittam. And Prasadam what for? And Kittam how it can be eliminated. And what is the importance of the Kittam? At the same time, in this chapter, some other points are discussing that how the person who is having proper food habits, patyaharas, are affected with some diseases, and those who are not doing proper patyas, that means they are following some abhatyas, are not getting diseases. Very important question he is asking. And in conclusion, Acharya is explaining that how you can get rid of all these diseases beside the food, because food is one of the factors for the diseases. And other Pratnyabharatham, Asatmendriyartha Samyogam, Kalam, all these things are, Kala Vivadyayam, all these are becoming the factors for the diseases. So it's a very highly elicited ideas now. We know that dietary specialization now getting on well, and specialization in how each and every continent level diet can be developed, and for each diseases diet can be advised. All these discussions are going on. But generally, what is happening? The body has to accept it. Certain people who are Satmya is a concept which is derived from our Ayurveda. Those who are, from the beginning itself, those who are habituated with some of the food won't have any problem. Okasatmya is told. So that also told by the Charaka. Charaka always telling that the previous chapter, you know, that is, he has given that Annapana Vidhir Nama Adhyaya, that how food can be taken, or what type of food, in what way of the form of in what type of level we can taken, and Hanuvanam Vidhi also, that is, whenever you are taking food, something vehicles has to be added with that for a proper functioning of the digestion. And also he is telling that Dravyam and the food will be changed time to time. You know, in contemporary level, even in Kerala, I have seen that the new generation is accepted many of the changes in our food habits, just like our Chinese food or European food and all. But one basic thing is, each and every place, Desham, Kalam and all, it depends upon these factors, our food habits derived. You know, in Gujarat and Maharashtra or some other places, they will take swadu, sweet, predominantly in their food diet. Whereas in Kerala and Andhra, Bengal and all, they are using Kadu Rucha and all. So in Tamil Nadu, you can see that they are taking, instead of hot water, cold water. So likewise, many places they are varying in accordance with their traditional method. That means they have developed a food habits that won't make any harm to their body. So that is what, and also the new type of vegetables, how it can be acted as rasa, virya, rucha and all. That Charaka is telling that yathanam aushadham ginjit desajanya vajo yatha dravyam tat tatha vachyam anuktam ihayat bhave. That is, the dravyas which is available can be assumed by the people who are residing around it. For instance, if anybody is asking about the guna of the cabbage or cauliflower or carrot and all these things, this is newly adopted vegetables to our place. So he is telling that in accordance with the place and those people consuming, you can observe what are all the things happening in the body while consuming these type of vegetables or any other foods. So food may change and the food habits also may be changed, and how it is working in the body has to be observed by to expertise the clinic. So people will come over to your clinics telling that what are all the pathyas can be adopted or abathyas can be adopted. While studying this Vividhasita PDM chapter and the Anna Samrakshaniyam chapter, we should identify that what are all the advice can be given to the people who are approaching you with some of the ailments, and that ailments can be, the pathyas can be, we can just have pathya nirupana while observing these type of complaints. So it is many type of pathya and abathya. You can see that even many type of vegetables and many type of meats are also included in our food habits. We cannot restrict to particular type of food to particular group of people, because people will be having there are certain factors that they will be, as I told you earlier, Augusatmyam will be there, and what they are, their exercises and all these are coming under this chapter itself. When you are doing vyayama and all, or doing very hard work, you should have certain quantity of food which should be nourished the body time to time. And those who are totally not doing any work, simply with the mobile and laptop working, they have to reduce their food, and you have to find the list of food which they can consume. So the total change of our life habits, and the total change of food habits and drinking habits also. You know that this COVID-19, it is told that water content should be increased. Here the importance is, what I want to raise is, in this COVID, malam has to be eliminated timely. Sweda, mutra, mala and all these things should be eliminated timely, and the consumption of the food has to be properly. That is also nourishing level. And water contents about 1.5 to 2.5 water has to be taken. That means 1/3 of the stomach has to be reserved, and the 2/3 only we can fill with this food. So this is what we can do for the type of virus or fungus or in bacteria and all other type of diseases. So here what happens is, still it is having importance in Ashita, Pida, Leedha, Khadida, Prabhavascha Asmin Sharire, vyadhayo bhavanti. That is what he is telling. Kevalam shariram upajayabala varna sukhayusha yojeti sharira dhadun urjayati. That means upajaya bala varna sukhayusha. Body has to be intact, and that will be contributed for the whole health of the our lifespan. And Sarira Dhadun Urjeti. Sarira, the nourishments will be given to the Dhadus. Dhadavohi Dhatwaharaha Pragritim Anivartande. That means when you are taking the proper food which nourish the Dhadu will be contributed for the whole body. And Tatra Ahara Prasadakyo Rasaha Pittanja Malakhyam Abhinirvartande. That means food which you are taking always help you to make it Sara and Pitta. So Sara Pitta Bhedam has to be adopted, and the Kitta is Malakhyam Abhinirvartande. Kitta Sweda Purisha Vada Pitta Sleshmanaha Karnakshi Nasiga Asya Loma Kuba Prajanana Malaha Kashas Masu Loma Nakhadayascha Avayavaha Pushyanti. So Mala is also a very important factor. Through that you can get it Sweda Mutra Purisha Vada Pitta Sleshmana Karnakshi Nasiga then Loma Kuba Prajanana Malaha. That means body when metabolization undergone by for the whole body will produce some of the waste matter, and that will keep you certain occasions we will say that dhadus will be called as malas and malas will be called doshas, and all these things are in the different context they will use it. So Ramakuba, Akshi and all these things, Akshishrava and all these things are happening day by day, and that will be eliminated whenever you need, whenever you need, you can eliminate it. So Pushyandi tu Ahar Rasad Rasarudhira Mamsa Medosti Majja Shuklaujamsi Panjendriya Dravyani Dhatu Prasada Samjnagani Sharira Sandhi Bandha Pichadayascha Avayavaha. So Dhatu Prasada, Pitta Prasada, waste materials along with some of the Loma, Nakha and all these things has to be developed, and waste materials has to be eliminated, and something will be there. That means every day when nails and Loma and all these things are growing, and the unnecessary growing can be curbed. That means these things has to be removed properly. So Dhatu Prasada Samjnagani Sharira Sandhi Bandhan Sharira Bandha Pichadayascha Avayavaha. So whole body there are certain things has to be kept in Ghara form and the Picha form, and all these things are used for the total movement of the body. Body is you know that Egadasha Indriyani are there, cognitive and some cognitive functions has to be adopted daily. My mind is now supervising all these things. That is the concept of our Ayurveda. And telling that these functions has to be done when you are daily you are taking food. That will be properly nourished, digested and nourished for the whole functions of the body. That is metabolic activities. So Panchendriya Dravyani Dhatu Prasada Sankhani Samjnagani Sharira Sandhi Bandha Pichadescha Avayavaha Te Sarva Eva Dhadavo Malakhyaha Prasadakhyascha Rasamalabhyam Pushyantaha Swam Manam Anuvartande Yathavaya Sharira. So for the body, it's a parimana, that means Swam Manam Anuvartande. How much quantity is required for the body in prasada level and the pitta level, that has to be maintained. So that is for each and every constitution of the body. When you are living in particular place, that means Europeans are having different constitutional level, and the Negroes are having another one, Asians are having another one. So these people, all people are having, there are proportional level of mala and the pitta and the prasada are there, and through that we are maintaining our health. So we know that dosha samyam arogata. The balance of the dosha is the very important thing which you have to keep for the whole life. Although we know that lifespan is limited to 100 years for our human being, and there are certain animals, they are limited to 2 years or 6 months even. So this period of lifespan will not be changed, but the period of in due course of the period of the lifespan, we should keep the health. That is what the aim of our science. Nimittadastu Kshinavardhanam Prasadakyanam Dhadunam Vrithichayabhyam Ahara Mulabhyam Rasaha Samyak Ulpadayati Arogyaya Ittamja Malanam Evameva Swamanadiviktaha Punarulsarginaha Chidoshna Padyaya Gunehi Cha Ubajaryamana Malaha Sarira Dhadu Samyagadaha Samubalabhyante. So when the mala is Sida in nature, that has to be corrected with Ushna. And when prasada is getting proper gunas, then that has to be corrected. For instance, if ojas is the byproduct of the prasada. So ojas has to be maintained by taking some snigdha gunas and all. So likewise, if mala is not properly functioning, that has to be corrected. For instance, the masha is malagara dravya. When you are having some problem in constipation and all, you have to eliminate by giving some malagara dravya. So likewise, you have to correct the body metabolic mechanism all over the levels, because why it is telling is Teshamdu Malaprasadakyanam Dhadunam Prodamsi Ayanamukhani. Ayanamukhani means the very near eliminating orifices. So through that the waste material has to be cleared and the prasadam has to be maintained in the body. So these things are happening in Srodas itself. So we know that many of the Srodasas has to be perfectly functioned with their own Dhattvagni, then only diseases can be prevented. You know that Kasa Swasa Hidma, one Prana, Anna, Jala, Srodas are involving it. So in that proper functioning, if you are succeeded in functioning that properly, then these three diseases can be curbed. So these theories depends upon the level of understandings. Evamidam Shariram Ashita Pida Leetha Ghadida Prabhavam. So all these diseases are happening because of through different type of food habits. That means when you are drinking water, there are certain principles. When you are swallowing, there are also some principles. And how you can take in licking, that is also there. Because in our Aushadhas itself, that means medicine itself, it is told that in certain diseases, for Kasaswasa and all things, Muhurmuhu, Leader type of food medicines has to be taken. Then only that will be getting more results. So in drinking also you can see that certain kashayam has to be taken in drinking form. So that is what here mentioned. There are certain things you have to chew yourself. That means in certain guligas you have to chew, or any other kridas also you have to mix with some other medicine and you chew itself, or tablets you have to chew itself. So these type of things has to be applied in different level of drugs as well as the food. Then evam idam shariram ashita peda leetha ghadita prabhavam ashita peda leetha ghadita prabhavas chasmin sharire vyadhayo bhavanti hidahidopayoga vishesha swatra shubha shubha visheshagada bhavanti. So vyadhi is developing if you are having improper type of food habits or improper time in taking food. And what hida or ahida of the body has to be identified. If you are not properly giving importance for that, you will be having shubha visheshagada bhavanti. That means if you are taking wholesome things, you may get shubham. Unwholesome thing, you may get ashubham. Evam vadinam bhagavantam matrayam agniveshaha uvaja. In that context, Atreya is asking, Kida samakhyadam abhi aharam ubayunjana vyadhimandascha agadascha tadhaivahida samakhyadam evam drishte katham kidahidopyoga visheshatmakam shubha shubha vishesham ubalabham aha. That means he is asking that hidam, when you are telling that the hidam will be resulted for the health and the ahidam will be resulted for the diseases. So he is pointing out that hidaharopayoginam agniveshaha tannimitta vyadhayo jayande naja kevalam hidaharopayoga deva sarva vyadhim bhayam adikrantam bhavanti sandhi ह्यदेप्यहिदाहारोपयोगाद अन्या रोग प्रवृत्तयः तद्यतः कालविपर्ययः प्रज्ञापराधः शब्दस्पर्श रूपरसगन्धश्च असाप्न्या इति ताश्च रोगप्रकृतयो रसान् सम्यक् उभयुञ्जानामपि पुरुषम् अशुभेन उपपादयन् तस्मात् हिदाहारो उपयोगिनोऽपि दृश्यन्ते व्याधिमन्तः. Asking that those who are taking wholesome food or wholesome food also will be afflicted with the diseases. So he is telling that those who are taking wholesome food also will be afflicted because of Kala vipadyayaha prajnaparatha shabdasparsha ruparasa gandhascha asapnya iti. Tascha roga prakritiyoho rasan सम्यक् उभयुञ्जानामपि पुरुषम् अशुभेन उपदबन्ति तस्मात् हि हिदाहारोपयोगिनोऽपि दृश्यन्ते व्याधिमन्तः. So प्रज्ञापराधं कालविपर्ययम् असाप्नेन्द्रियार्थ संयोगम्. So those who are aged will not be having proper acceptable form of the food which they have taken earlier. Sometimes prajnavaratham means you are not at all caring about the food which you are taking, because prajnavaratham means you are violating transgression violations. That means with You are not admitting your consciousness. That means the quantity, for instance. Even animals are having vivegam danas. That means they can decide how much quantity they can consume than a human being, because pratnyaparatha, due to pratnyaparatha, a person who is taking the whole chicken, fried chicken in a day, and knowing that that may make some trouble the next day, the quantity and because of the taste, he is consuming more food, whereas animals won't do that. A cat that will take its prey after satisfying its satiety center, remaining thing will be kept there. He won't take it. He is having that cat itself, or like tiger also, you can see that. They will catch the prey and they will consume as good as their consumption level. But human beings, sometimes they won't care about it. So that is what telling that in obesity, diets, they have many type of theories are adopted in our new world, because they won't care about the food earlier, and later they are doing dieting, very fasting, and very small quantity of food, or sometimes raw vegetables and all these things they are doing because of their pratnyaparatha they have done earlier in taking food. So ahidahara upayoginam punaha karanado na sadyo doshavan bhavatyapachara. So those people who are afflicted with this pratnyaparatha or kala viparyaya also in contradict kalas also, you are if you are taking food, that will be affected. And the asatmendriyartha samyogam also, we have already studied that indriyartha, in wholesome level of the indriyartham has to be adopted, then only you can get rid of any diseases. So if you are using more electronic items or gadgets and all, and if you are not properly taking food in time, that also will be high. Ahidahara upayogino punah karanadas na sadyo doshavan bhavatyapacharaha. Those who are taking unwholesome food but they are not getting diseases. This is another question by the Agnivecha. That means he is telling that perhaps he may be having some satmyataha or satmya, or sometimes the visheshana of the dosha not in a saturated level. So up to that he will be free from a disease. And when the saturation is leveled, then he will be afflicted to diseases. So you know that many type of diseases may develop. Sayava doshaha samsrishtayonir viruddha upakramo gambhiranugadas chidasthidaha pranayadana samuddho marmobhaghadi kashtadamaha kshipragaridhamascha sambadhyate. That means sharirani jadi sthulani adhikrishani anivishta mamsa shonida asthini durbalani asatmyahara upajidani anya alpaharani alpasattwani ja bhavandi avyadhi sahani viparidani punarvyadhi sahani. So what happens means here, those who are having gambhirānugata sthirasthita pranayadana samuddha, certain type of diseases, you know, allergy, it's a concept which is newly derived from the modern medicine. They are telling that certain things will be allergens to a body, and that may lead to respiratory system problem or skin problem and all. Even digestive system will be affected. So here what happens means, those who are, that means everybody won't have these type of diseases when you are exposed to certain allergens. How it is happening? So our immunoglobulin level will be varied. We have identified some 4 or 5 type of immunoglobulins, and always modern medicine will say that you just prevent all these things from your food or exposure. So that is not an answer for that. He is telling that if you are having even Sattvabala is not attained, you may get afflicted in certain diseases. So that is what he is telling. And some even psychosomatic diseases, something psychic stress is the main factor for certain diseases, certain skin diseases, respiratory disorders, and irritable bowel syndrome, like gastrointestinal disorder. Of course, some headache and all. These things are happening. What he is telling is not only because of the food, something other than that, that I have already told about the Prajnaviradha. So, Adistholani, Adikrishani, these people having some problem that will be because of their constitutional level. Those who are obese will be having their complaints, and those who are so lean will be having their own complaints. So sometimes joint pain and all. So this type of diseases and marmobakhadi kashtadamaha. Those who are, for instance, if a player will have any sacral plexus trauma, and those complaints will be persistent if you are not timely intervened, and that also will be developed because of the dhatu paga is not properly functioning and not getting results from the proper paga, proper metabolic activities. So Vyadhi will be afflicted. Those who are having wholesome diet habits will be also having diseases, and those who are doing abhathyas also will be relieved, not getting any diseases. That answer is now given by Atreya. So these two things may happen, but different reasons are there, and those who are adopting abhathyas will be getting afflicted with the diseases later on. Tatra rasadishu sthaneshu pragvidanam doshanam yasmin sthane vyathayaha sambhavanti tam sthan yatavad anuvyakhyasyaamaha. Rasadi sthaneshu means rasadi dhatu. It is given vimanasthana. In Charaka, Vimanasthana, Rasa Vimanam is dealt with many of these factors. How Rasadi Dhadus are affected, and the diseases, and how it can be treated and all. So here the manifestation, the total manifestation, he is telling that Ashraddha Jarujis Chasya Vairasya Marasatnyada Krillaso Gauravam Dandra Sangamardo Jurastama Pandutvam Swadasam Jotha Klaibyam Sada Krishangada Nashagnir Ayadhagalam Valaya Palidanija Rasa Pradosha Jaroga. So when dosha vitiated in particular dhatu, so up to this, he has explained about the nourishments of the rasas, rasadi dhadus, and how the dhadu prasadam can be happened, and dhadu kittam also can be happened. Here, when dosha is afflicted, vitiated in particular dosha, dhadus, certain symptoms may develop, and that that in our life in clinics itself, many of the complaints are coming in tune with these symptoms which is already explained. Ashraddha darujis chasya vairasya marasatnyada. That means we are not getting any that is restlessness, ashraddha, not getting concentration and all. Aruji, asya vairasya, arasatnyada, all these things you may be knowing. Turlasam, gauravam, tandra, sangamardo, jwarastama. That means when we are having total laziness in the body, in our life, we will feel that something is wrong with our, because we are not getting any enthusiasm in the life. We cannot get any concentration, and always we will complain about the things which we can, unexplainable type of complaints will be there for the whole body. So that is, he is telling that, and he also the loss of appetite and valaya palidanika, the graying of the hair, and also the baldness and all. These are all attributed to Rasapradoshaja. Raktadoshaja, Kushtavisarpa Vidaga, Raktavittama Srigdara, Buddha Metrasya Pagasya Pliha Gulmotha Vidrathi, Niliga Kamala Vyanga, Viplavas Tilagal Kalagaha, Dedrus Charmadalam Switram Bama Kodhastra Mandalam, Rakta Pradosha Jayandi. You see that the skin disorders, many type of skin disorders, which is already we are coming under the allergy also, coming with our Rakta Pradoshaja. And there also you can see that Pliha Gulmotha Vidrathi, Niliga Kamala Vyanga. In coloration due to some of the liver disorders, and liver disorders, you know, endometrial system is the place of the Rakta Dhatu, and from there itself, Yagar Plihano Prapya Ragam Vedi, when Rasam in other contexts in Grahani Chikitsa, Atraya Agnivesha is asking that why you are telling about the Vaisadrisha Rasadi Dhatus now. Rasa is entirely different. Rakta is entirely different from Rasa when it is produced from the Rasa. And Mamsa is also different. So the evolutions of these Rasadi Dhatus are entirely different from color or any other constituent. I mean, it's a complex and all these things. So complexity, I mean, color and its a constitution and constituent of it. So here what happens means he is telling that Pliha and Gudha-Metrasya Bhaga and all this, that means a type of inflammatory disorders and skin disorders, all these are happening because of the even Shitram, Pama and all these diseases are attributed in Rakta Pradoshaja Vyati. Rakta, when dosha is vitiated in Rakta. Likewise, Mamsa also, Adhimamsa Arbudam Gilam, Gadashaluga Sundige, Udimamsam, Alaji, Ganda Maluabajihvigaha, Vidyan, Mamsa Shraya. These are all we have studied. Medas Samshrayams to Prajakshma He Nindidani Pramehanam Purva Rubani Yanija. That is what the very important diseases which we are now coming across whole world. That means diabetes in different forms are presenting. Always we will say that this is morbidity of the body is increasing. The term morbidity itself is a type of expression of our dosha vishesha. So prameha, you can see that Meda samsrayastu, from Medas itself, Meda when vitiated may develop many diseases, but the important disease is prameha itself. Adhyasti dando dandasti astibheda shulam vivarnada kesaloman akasmasru doshas shasti pradoshaja. This is also very another interesting factor that kesha loma nakha smashu doshaha. When asti is vitiated, these things are increasing in the body. You know, in Madhumeha and Rajekshma, the skin, the hair and the nails are affected. So it's a principle which is explained earlier, and now also it is a debatable thing how the endocrinology and the metabolic level of thinking can be utilized for these type of waste materials connecting with our bone is I mean, it's also very very good idea we have to think about. Rik Parvanam Brahmo Murcha Darshanam Tamasas Tatha Arusham Sthula Moolanam Parvajanam Ja Darshanam. Majja Pradoshat. Majja, that also a type of, you know, something which is developing in the Majja will resulted in Murcha and the Brahma Tamo Darshan. When Majja is affected, cerebral level of changes are occurring. These are also has to be studied well. Shuklasya doshatu doshat plaibim aharshanam yogi va klibam alpayush ayur virubam va prajayade na jasya jayade garbha padati prasravatyavi shuklam hi dushtam sabatyam sadaram bhathade nadam. So shuklam, you know, in previous chapter it is told that Sadhunam Sonidadinam Gurum Vidyat Yathoptaram Arasobhyava Shishyande Pranino Ye Bahupriya. Sadhunam Sonidadyanam. Sonidadi Dhadus Vidyat Yathoptaram Guru. That means Rasa is very light and the Shukla is the more Guru in nature. So they have identified that. So in by observing it, we can see that the total body will be, that also has analyzed how the Laghu and the Guru, Dhadus are having Guru and Laghu characteristics. And that may lead to even the fate of the offsprings. Yogi va klevam alpayur virubam va prajayade na jasya jayade garbha padati prasravatya. Indriyani samasritya pragupyanti sada malaha ubagado ubagadhabhyam yojayanti indriyani de. Indriyani samasritya pragupyanti. Those doshas vitiated in particular indriyas, in cognizance level, that will ubaghadam, that particular indriya will be affected. For instance, if you are using than the capacity of the ear, that capacity of functioning will be affected of that ear later. So vitiation, when, and also if you are dipping in some, I have observed that some of the patients who are daily taking bath in the river or the well water regularly will be having some problem in the ear, and initially that will be started with some inflammatory origin, and later if they are not caring properly, it may ruin the capacity of the ear. So likewise, indriyani samasritya pragupyanti yatha malaha ubagadopagadhabhyam yojen indriyani de snayo sida kyo dushta plishyanti manavam Sambha sankoja khallibhir grandhi spurana suktipi. This also we can see the names Snayu, Sida, Kandara. You know, in even low back ache, we have found out that due to disc bulge, disc desiccation, and disc, the disc displacement, trauma of the disc, and sometimes or because of these things, the bifurcating nerves will be totally blocked or damaged, and due to that, diseases may occur. So initially, pain will be the symptom which is expressed, and later, you know, these cases are surgical, sometimes surgical, some neuro level and surgical level. These things are going, and in certain occasions, we have to find out that how the dosha vitiated in particular thing because of that. That means the trauma or any other complaints. But presenting complaints will be stambha sangoja kallibhir grandhis purana suktipi. So here the appropriate management has to be adopted. Malan asritya kubida bheda shosha pradushanam dosha malanam kurvandi sangol sargat sargavadivacha. Malan asritya kubidaha. Sometimes mala bhedam will be there, mala shosham will be there. Dysentery or constipation occur. So these are all the things he is telling, that Acharya is telling, that vikaras, the complaints may develop because of the food which you have taken in the body or without that, and there are certain other causative factors. Abhigadam will be there, or this Pratnyavaratam or Asatmendriyatha Samyogam, and Parinamakalam, and all these things will be factors for contributory for the diseases. Vividhasidat, Pidat, Ahidat, Leethagadidat, Bhavandyede Manushyanam Vigaraja, Ya Udahrada. Tesham Ichan Anulpattim Seveda Madiman Sada, Idanyevasiddadini, Nasyut Tajjas Tathamayaha. Rasajanam Vigaranam Sarvam Langhanam Aushadam, Vidishornidhigetyaye, Rektajanam Shakjitam. So Vidishornida Dhyayam, it is told that Rasam Rektam and Rasajanam Langhana Jigulsa, and Vidishornida Dhyaya Rektaja Jigulsa, Mamsajanam to Samshuddhi, Shastra Charagni Garmaja, Ashtau Nindidige Dhyaye, Medojanam Jigilsida. All these chapters already explained in different context. So for rasam, for rectum, for mamsam, Astyasrayanam yadhinam panjakarmani bheshajam bastayat shira sarpimshi diktagopahidanita. Shira sarpimshi diktago type of basti has to be done for the Astyasrayanam yadhinam. Majja shukla samudhanam aushadam swadu diktagam annam Yavaya Vyayamo Shuddhi Kaleja Matraya. So Madhya Shukla type of diseases we can give whenever needed, when and where needed, Vyavaya Vyayama Shuddhi Kaleja Matraya. Proportionately we have to give it. And knowing the actual level of diseases and the in particular constitution, and everything has to be identified. All these factors has to be considered. Chandir Indriya Janam to Primarmaye Pravachere. That is, in Primarmayam, what are all the things advised has to be adopted in Snayuvad Janam Prasamo Vachande Vadarogige. Vachade Vadarogige. Navegan Dharane Dhyaye Chigilsa Sangraha Kuta. Malajanam Vigaranam Siddhis Chokta Kojit. So Vidhishodnidaya Dhyayam and Primarmiya Dhyayam Navayagandharaniya Adhyayam, and all these chapters has to be Vishaktidiyam, and all these chapter has to be, again we have to go through. Vyayama Dushmanas Taishnyat Ahidans Hidasya Anavajaranat Koshta Shakha Malayandi Dridhatvan Marudasya Tatrasthasya Vilambande Gadajitna Samiridaha Nadesagale Gupyandi Bhuyo Hedu Pradikshina. So here, Vyayama Dushmanas Taishnyat we have studied in Ashtanga Hridaya that how the vitiated mala is migrating to the shakhas. Koshta shakha malayanti drudatvan marudasya. So with the help of the maruda, it is going on. And nadesagale kupyandi bhuyo hedu pradishina. So it is waiting for the further pathological condition. When it is going outside from its own places. And if you are not properly intervened, that may make trouble time to time. So here the thing is now, because of your Vyayama Dushmana, because of that thought it is developed, and due to Vayu it is migrated from Koshtas, and it is waiting for the causative factor. Vruddhya Vishyandanat Pagat, Srodo Mukha Vishodhanat, Shakha Muktva Mala Koshtham, Yandi Vayoscha Nigrahat. It is the content.
Sir, we can't hear you.
Sir,
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Vruddhya Vishyandanat Pagat, Srodo Mukha Vishodhanat, Shakha Muktva Mala Koshtham. No. So you know that when the help of Vayu it is migrated from the Koshtha, and again that has to be imported from those places to Samya Kala Nirkharana. That means in proper time that has to be relieved from the Koshtha. So before that you have to do some of these ways, Sneha Sweda, Panchakarma and all these things. So all these things we are telling that Srodo Mukha Vishodhanat, and you are trying to make Shodhanam through all these Srodhas, and the workload of the internal organs also very important in nowadays in cardiology or nephrology. In some endocrinological disorders, they are telling that whenever you are considering the functions of these internal organs, its workload has to be reduced because we are giving much pressure on it because of our life habits and so-called many diseases we are discussing in nowadays. So these things are happening because of the workload which you are or giving pressure on it. For kidney, you know that it is a majority of the kidney disorders are due to iatrogenic, and cardiological problem is also because of the Vegarothas, and which we have studied earlier. The Vegan Rogan Ulpadaniyam also you have studied. So that whenever, if you want to become easy, the proper functioning of the dhadus and the elimination of the malas are very important. So that is what they are telling, that Vridhya Vishyandanat Bhagat, Srodo Mukha Vishodhanat. It's a very, very elaborately we have to discuss about the Abhishyandam and the Paga, because certain food and the drugs we have identified that will help for the inflammatory origin. And that is what happening in nowadays. People, those who are prone to some of the living habits. Ajadanam anulpatto jadanam vinivritte roganam yo vidhir drishta sukharti tam samachare sukhartha sarvabhutanam mata sarva pravrittaya jnana jnana visheshatu marga pravrittaya. That means ajadanam anulpatto jadanam vinivritte. We have to take preventive measure and we have to intervene in diseases which is already occurred. So that Sukharti, those who want to get relief of diseases has to be adopted properly. Sukhartha Sarvabhudanam, everybody thinking about the Sukha, and but they will be getting problem because of their own their own causes. They should be conscious about their body. For that purpose only, the chapter is explained that how ahara can be taken, and the ahara is how it is contributed for the proper functioning of the dhatus, and how the elimination of the malas can be done. Hidam evanurudhyande prabarisha varishagaha rajo mohavradatmana priyamevatu laukigaha. So those who are priyamevatu laukigaha, laukika people, those who are not bothering about the consciousness of how the well-being can be done, will always think about rajo moha vradhatmana. They because of the rajas and the moham, they will think about the ajinomoto, the food which is giving more taste, and don't bother about the present level. They are giving much importance for the ruji, that is taste. So taste and the smell will always attract you, and they may fall a prey to some of the diseases. And even knowing that, in newly developed pizza or any junk food are examples for that. Even though many awareness classes are going on in the many health centers, we are not bothering about it. So that means Rajo Mohavradatmanaha Priyam Evatu Laukika. Priyam food is selected for it. Whereas Rudam Buddhi Smridir Dakshyam Dhridir Hidam Dhridir Hida Nishavanam Vag Vishuddhi Shamodhar Dhairyam Asrayandi Parikshagam. We have to apply our intelligence and our conscious level. That is what Dakshyan Dhridir Hida Nishavanam. What are all the things can be taken, although it is not palatable or taste and all, we should be aware of our body and mind as well. Then you will get rid of many diseases. Vag Visuddhi also it is telling that in your all indriyas, jnanendriyas, smell, vak, or shravyam, or natram, and all these things you have to be more care about it. Vag Visuddhi is one of the examples. You have to use your words very consciously. Otherwise, you will be having some strain in your mind, because you will always say, oh, those words we can avoid. We could have avoided. So likewise, that also make some headache for the whole life, or sleeplessness and all other things. So even he is telling about the Vag Visuddhi. Shrudam Buddhi Smridir Dakshim Dhridir Hidam Hida Nishevanam Vag Visuddhi Shamo Dharma Dhairyam Asrayanti Padishava. Dhairyam is also, that's a Sthira Buddhi. That means what are all the things we have to taken for that moment, or which one is correct, and all these things has to be depends upon the boldness which you are having. So buddhi and the boldness is working together. Then tanmula bahavo yanti roga sharira manasa. That is what he said. Sharira manasa rogaha. Bahavo rogaha yanti. When you are adopting this, Vag Visuddhi Shamodhairyam Asrayanti Parikshagam Laugigam Nasrayandiyade Guna Moha Rajasritam. Then Pratnyabarathat Hi Ahidan Arthan Panjanishevate Sandharayadi Vegamsha Sevade Sahasanija. Pratnyabarathat, as I told you earlier about the Pratnyavaratham, should be totally avoided. Vega, which we have already discussed in Navegantharaniyam or Yoganilpadaniyam, all the Vegas has to be cleared timely. Sandharanam of Vega is making troubles, and which may lead to some diseases, even heart diseases. 5 of the Vegadharanas are the causative factors for it. So many Vegadharanas are leading to diseases which we are now suffering like anything in the community. So he is telling about the Sandharedi Vegamsha Seveda Sahasanija. Sahasanija. That means Sahasam means you should know about your strength, mental strength and the physical strength. If you are not knowing, without knowing all these things, what are all the deeds you are doing, that has to be suffered. Tadatva Sukha Samnyeshu Bhaveshu Atnyonirajyade Rajyade Nadu Vijnada Vijnane Hyamaligrade. So he Amaligrade Vijnane. Your consciousness should be very crystal clear. Always we will claim that we have developed many physical level, we have developed like anything, but we are not thinking that what are all the, for instance, TV gadgets and many other things we have adopted in our life, and we cannot get rid of it. It is becoming addiction to our life. Likewise, alcohol is also it is a burden for us. That means when you are applying your Shastra Jnana, Buddhi, Smriti, Dhridi, Hitaseva. See, in Kerala, what happens means last some 2 months before, I was invited for a discussion that how the addiction of the youth, ganja, liquor, alcohol, and all these things, how it can be managed. The government was actually seriously thinking about it. But I have an opinion that cannot be curbed because we have to teach them from young itself that what is the aim of our life and what are all the targets to be achieved. And some Subhashita type of counseling has to be given from beginning itself. Now what happens means these people who are afflicted with some of the addiction in alcohol or ganja and all, these people, they are not having any aim in their life, because everything given by their parents or society, even without any effort. So this also happened in our in countries, affluent countries previously. And they are finding time, they are also in dilemma. Here what happens means we have to give some, they have to spare their, they have to give some responsibilities, and they have to do that from childhood itself, so that they may think that something other than the tuned life is there. Here what parents are always dominating in their decisions, in the children's decision or adults' decision. So that is what he is telling, that Naragan Napya Vijnanad Aharanupayode Pariksha Hidamasniya Deho Hyahara Sambhava. Formerly, Tadatya Tadatva Sukha Samjneshu Bhaveshu Atmyoni Rujyade Rajyade Nadu Vijnada Vijnani Hyamaligate. Naragan Napya Vijnana Ahara Anubayoje Pariksha Hidamasniya Desho Hyahara Sambhava. At last he is telling that you have to identify the food which is more wholesome for you. And if you are having satmya, yoga satmya, that you can adopt it. And with our some knowledge, you have to identify that which one is more wholesome for you, and which desha it is wholesome for you, which kala it is wholesome for you, and everything you have to identify that. Then only aharasya vidhavashto vishesha hedu samjnagaha shubha shubha samulpattotan pariksha prayoje. That is aharasya vidhavashto. 8 type of aharas are there. At least you just follow these things. That means this is also explained in Vimanasthana Adhyaya. Just Savima. Prakriti, Karanam, Samyogam, Rashi, Desham, Kalam, Upayoga Samstha, Upayokta. These are all the things he has developed, already told. That means Prakriti means Swabhaviga Prakriti of the Dravyas. For instance, for Masha, Ushna is the Guna, which is Prakriti of that Masha. Or Sida is the Mulgam, or Sida of Chandanam. These are Prakritis. Karanam means Swabhaviga Apisamskara. That means when you are for Laja, the Laja and Prathuga, one is seed is fried and the Laja is getting, and the Prathuga, because when you are taking with water, Abhisamskaram, Pridhuga is it is origin is from same thing. So likewise, Abhisamskaram is also, we have found out, Samyoga, Madhusarpishaha Samyoga, or Malsya Malsya and milk, and these are all Samyoga type of Ahara. Rashi, that is mixing of, altogether mixing of these food. For instance, Shadrasas, when you are taking the feast in lunch, you are using different type of rasas, and you may get that is also in certain areas, composition, combination, and all these things they have developed from heritage. So those things won't make any problem, but they have some what we have already told, that the Samyoga, that also coming under the Rashi. Mixing together, we should be more properly identified. Food has to be mixed together. And coming Desham, Anupadesham, Jangaladesham, and all that some Ushna Rupa type of, Ushna type of food will be available in the Jangalam, and the Sida will be Anupam, and all like that. Kalam also, Balyagalam, Yavanagalam, Varthakagalam, or Urdubhedam, all these things are coming under the Kala. So in certain Urdus, certain food will be good, and certain for Grishma Urdu, you can see that some type of cucurbitaceae type of food will be available from Prakriti itself is giving us. So watermelon and all. So you can, Kalam is also another factor. Upayoga Samstha. Upayoga Samstha means when you are taking food, Adidrudam Adivilambam. Certain people are there, due to some anxiety, they will take more food very fastly. And those who are having depressive mood, they will take only very slowly, they will take food. So that is Upayoga Samstha. Upayokta means, that is when you Ogasatmya, that is one example. That means when you are taking from the beginning itself, that will become Satmya for you. Even that it will be Viruddha for your, the so-called health. That won't make any harm to you. So that is what Aharasya Vidhavashto Vishesha Hedu Samjnagaha Shubha Shubha Samilpatto Dan Pariksha Prayoge Pariharyanya Abadhyani Sada Pariharan Nara Bhavandi Anranadam Prapta Sadhu Namiha Pandita Yattu Yoga Samuthanam Ashakyam Iha Kenajit Parihartum Nadal Prapya Shojidavyam Manishipi. Here the Sada Pariharan Naraha Sada Pariharan Pariharyani Abhi Pathyani Bhavati Anranadam Praptaha Sadhunam Iha Prapyada. That is, Sadhunam Iha Pandita. Yattu Yoga Samuthanam Ashakyam Iha Kenajit Parihartum Nadat Prapyam Shojidavyam Maniship. We can just see that Parihartum, those diseases which we can treat can be treated properly. Here another ethics comes, that when you are knowing about the diseases, you have to treat, or otherwise you just refer to the people who knows about it. One point. Another one, if all other factors, so-called factors, are favorable for treatment, you can take this patient for a treatment. And all other factors, what I have told about the food also, food or viharas or any other factors, Aushadha, all these things has to be considered when we are treating a patient. Pariharyani abhathyani sada pariharannada. And the abhathya should be totally devoid of all our abhathyas, so that you can relieve from the diseases. That is what telling. But yattu roga samuthanam ashakyamiha gayanachit parihattunna tal prapya shojidavyam. Certain diseases cannot be totally relieved from the diseases. Amarmagolpahayatutya, or otherwise graheshu aniguneshu ega doshamargo navasukha. All these things we have studied that when a sukhasadhya and asadhyatva yapyam, all these things studied our science itself. That because of some of the factors, also these are all the facts which we have to realize ourselves. In practice, certain diseases, we should not claim that all the diseases can be cured. Acharya is not agreeing with that. You can study the case and what are all the things you have practiced in your life, learned from your text, and the time of the patient. That means that I told you about when it is afflicted in particular doshas which already you have identified, and the graha in which he is passing on, margam which is you have identified, and you know the actual intervention, then the disease will be cured. So that you can keep your faith is important, and your yashas also can be maintained. So that is what he is telling. So this chapter is dealing with a very important matter, which is already in contemporary level. All the people are thinking about the sufferings, and whenever diseases comes, we will make ho and all these things. Actually, prevention is better than cure. That is what the thing which always we will say. And wholesome food means we should be, our mental and physical level of understanding has to be done in food and taking food also. And a certain food you can take, swallow, or something we can drink, and something we can bite it or chew it, or some other food can be taken in leha level. So the 4 type of food habits we can take for the wholesome food. And besides all these things, proper exercises and proper timing in the food, the taking the Rajastama, the Sattvatika food has to be taken. That means you have to avoid the Nivrittamisha Madhyo Avahidashi Prayadashuji is told that something aggravating the tamas and the rajas has to be avoided. This is in the context of the psychic problems. So one should think about the wholesome food for the well-being of the health, because the quality of life is very important for the whole life. That is what Ayusha, Palanam, Vedam, Ayurveda, always we will say about it. But we are whether we have to check whether we are adopting. So that is what in conclusion I want to say, that this much of things are coming out from this chapter. Can I conclude? Hello?
Yes, sir. Sir,
So what is our next program?
yes, sir. Any students can ask any questions from you, and after that we can conclude, sir.
Okay, okay.
So, dear students, if you have any doubts, kindly unmute yourself and ask. Dr. Heike?
Pardon?
I am calling for some students to ask some questions, sir.
Okay, okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, yes, sir, Dr. Basu.
Yes, namaste, sir.
Namaste.
Sharmaji. I would love it if you would talk a little bit about the vivecheti and muncheti that happens when food actually makes its way from rasa through prapaka and vipaka, and how that vivecheti and muncheti works in Ayurveda, and then maybe if you can put it in English terms. Thank you, sir.
That is, yeah. Actually, all these foods are going through the rasadi dhatus. So dhatu agni pagam, bhudagni and dhatu agni pagas. So rasad, that is what in Grahani Chikitsa, Acharya Charaka Atreya is telling that when Agnivesh is asking about the Rasan Visadrisani Datta, how it is happening. So he is telling that the Dhatu Agni Paga, 3 types of Agni Paga is there. That means Kedara Bulya Nyayam, Dathithira Nyayam, and Khadaya Kapoda Nyayam. And these 3, through these Nyayas, sometimes that may immediately developing, sometimes it may take and some time, and altogether they are telling about the 6 days, for 6 to 7 days for Dhatu Paga. So within that, all the dhadus will be undergone poshana. So while conducting this digestion, rasa kitta will be produced, and the byproducts of these 2 things, the dhadu prasadam will be gone to the dhadus, and the mala will be gone to the waste material. So here what I am telling is, if you want to make balance of the body, these 2 things has to be done every day through all these dhadus. So when Rasadhatu Agni is not properly functioning, then what I have told you about the Visheshna of the Rasa, there Jadyada or even Pali, Vari Palida complaints also may develop. So likewise the Dhadus Parinamam is a very important factor which is dealt with this chapter. Whereas Bhudagni, it is also told about this earlier, and the Kayagni, after all these Parinamas, Kayagni is working with the Samana Vayu. So Annam Pajati Grihnadi. All these things are happening in phased manner. Even you know that some of the drugs in rasa for this Pippali, you know, Vipagam is Madhura and the Rasam is Kadu. So even Dravyas are also, they have identified that due to this Paga, something is resulted. So the Agni, the metabolic level of understanding from the Dhatu Agni and its Kitta, the waste materials will be collected in certain srodhas, and srodhas will be when purificatory measures by elimination will get result in the proper functioning of the body. I think I came to that point.
Yes, you already discussed this, but I was looking for actually not this kind of a, we all know the Bhuta Agnis and Dhatu Agnis and the Nyayas, the 3, 4, 9 Nyayas. What I'm trying to understand is, how does the body know which is the Sara and which is the Kitta? How does it know? How does it actually decide that this is there? Is that a matter of Okasatmiya and what you're used to doing from childhood? Or is it something else that decides that ye graha karungi, I will take this and make this into Bhashwati cells, versus this food I will not take? How does it make that vivecheti of understanding? In different people, it's different.
No, but it is told that in Satnya, Bala is also very important one.
Yes.
The Bala means your inherent Bala is there. Inherent strength is there in the body.
Yes.
For instance, if you are taking fish from childhood itself, there may not be any problem for you when compared to the person who is not Satnya of the fish.
Yes.
So these things are happening because of the strength of the Agni. That is congenital. Agni Bala
I don't know if congenital. Is it congenital?
Yeah.
Or is it more Okasatmiya from your childhood?
Okasatmiya,
because many people sorry.
Yeah, you just come on. Yeah.
Because congenital means it came from your at least the word congenital is genetic and not epigenetic. It doesn't get influenced by the environment. It gets really influenced by the DNA concept, which is a modern medical concept, right? So in Ayurveda, we have Okasatmiya, which is a lot about your environment. So if you are a Keralite and your grandparents were fishermen and you grow up yourself in Shoranur, where you're eating fish from the river or the sea every single day, you will have a different Okasatmiya than your twin brother who is taken up to Punjab, where there's no fish. Let's say there's no fish there in the mountain. And so they're not eating fish at all. They're eating, goat meat, or they're eating something else. That Okasatmiya is different. Or if they are removed from Kerala and they go to a different country, that Okasatmiya is different. And I find this to be very relevant as we are talking about COVID, as you were in the beginning, that patients who are sick, when it's time for their post-sickness rasayana, I'm finding now that if I go and ask them what their Okasatmiya is from their childhood, let's say they're living in Canada, but they grew up in Kerala, then the Kerala foods that they had from age 6 months until 6 years, that Okasatmiya is actually the best for helping them to heal during rasayana. And by using this principle, I'm really thinking about what happens in that childhood age around vivecheti and muncheti, because something biochemically, or you can say physiologically, kriya sharir mein, right, something got developed that is not developed if they live in a different environment. Is my idea clear to you, sir?
Yeah. It's a different environment. Kalam is also a very important thing.
Yes, sir.
Kala viparyaya also may be changed. Here
Yes, sir.
the thing is now aharajam, pidrajam, madhrujam. You know, when a child is selecting his Atma is selecting one womb, it is because of these factors. So Aharajam is also a factor there itself is told.
And Matrajam and Pittajam, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Through that
So I'm
only,
trying to...
because from heritage itself, that means tradition itself, you know that people, Paramparya Samudayam is also there, very important. Your
Yes, sir.
grandparents, they are having their immunity. This is immunity level actually. Prasadajam will go for the ojas. And what immunity you are having is, for instance, if you are sedentary habits you are having, you will be having morbidity in your body. Diabetics, you know, all these, the COVID itself is affected with the morbidity, diabetic morbidity persons, morbid persons. So likewise, the metabolic activity is depends upon the aharaja, kalaja, madraja, pidraja factors.
Yes, sir. Sir, I have one more question, which is not directly related to these 20 shlokas, but it's something I'm thinking about. I was wondering if you can discuss with your experience as a Vaidya so many years about the reason why children lose their baby teeth, what in English we call baby teeth, and around 6-7 years old, they get new teeth. What is the relationship of that with our Okasatmya and our Ahara experience?
What is children? Nail biting. What you are?
No, sir. Teeth, daant. दांत जो बदल, I'll say it in Hindi for you. दांत जो बदल जाते हैं जब बच्चों है,
दांत बदल जाते हैं.
दांत बदल जाते हैं 6 महीने से और 1 साल से जो 6 साल तक जो बेबी टीथ है, बेबी टीथ बोलते हैं इंग्लिश में. Those baby teeth become they fall out and they get new teeth. So I'm trying to understand why that happens in the physiology. Why do they have baby teeth and then it goes out and then they get new teeth, and then after that point it seems like the ahara of the child, something is set. Can you speak about the baby teeth?
At level, I will also say that is in gestation period itself, what the food they are taking, the mother taking. So it depends upon those things. Because you cannot see that many, as you told about the fishermen families, I didn't see this type of baby teeth and all. They are taking more calcium and fish and all these things in the time of the gestation period. In vegetarian food, people, they will give some calcium nourished foods in gestation period. Gestation period is the very important thing for the children, those who are having bone or bone, teeth and hair. These factors are seen. So that is what they are telling, that the visheshna of the Asti Dhatu itself, the symptoms they have told about the hair, Asti Adhidandam and all. So likewise, even in the time of the pregnancy itself, we have to care about it, so that we can avoid off these complaints with the child.
So are you saying that there are people in the fisherman community, for example, that do never lose their teeth at the age of 6-7? They don't get a replacement teeth?
No, I mean, majority of the people are not complaining about these things in fisherman community.
But I don't think they complain. I think it's just considered to be a part of life. And what I'm hearing from you is that it's not a part of the life of all people. It's only some people that lose their baby teeth and get adult teeth.
See, we didn't conduct any survey study of the fisherman community. What we are experiencing in our practice only, I will say, I can say that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. Namaste.
Thank you, Dr. Basudhi. Thank you, sir. Dr. Haik, you can ask your question directly, or should I ask? Yes.
Namaste.
Namaste. Yeah.
Thank you very much for the lesson. I have one question about, like we talked, you explained about the different dhatus and the connections. And I thought about one patient who is a small child of 4 years and which is having skin problems. And is it always coming, the skin problems, is it always connected to the Rakta Dhatu? Like for this child, for instance, there's always a flare up when she's getting cold and cough, and she's getting it frequently. And then the skin is getting very worse. It's with itching and day and night, especially in the night. And what is it only the Rakta Dhatu, or is it always the Rakta Dhatu involvement in skin problems? And for the child who's 4 years old, can there be done a mild Shodhana as well?
This is because of not only Rakta Dhatu, Rasa Dhatu is also involved in it. From Rasa Dhatu to Rakta Dhatu transformation when occurs, from there itself some problems may be there. That's why he is having a respiratory disorder also. That I have already explained about the allergens now. Body cannot withstand some of the things, and this is not for the whole general level, and special type of cases, and that is also depends upon the state or place in which he is living. Because I have noticed that in certain places, Anupadesha, people are always having these type of skin diseases, and sometimes for respiratory disorders they might have taken some antibiotics or anti-inflammatory drugs, and resulting with these skin disorders. That also we used to see in certain areas. Their habits of food also will influence. So without knowing that, for instance, in refrigerated food, you know that those foods which regularly, if you are taking it, may cause for the Rasa-Rakta Dhatu problems. Because knowingly or unknowingly, we are forced to take some food which is that I told you about the satiety center. The human being is not considering about the satiety of your needs, and you are afflicted with some of the diseases. So these two, 3 factors are there. For this, actually, Langanam is not cannot be advised in the children. So you give Pajana Deepana Aushathas, which is purifying the blood, will be more better. Understood?
Yes, yes. Also not a mild Virejana also can be done. Like sometimes it happened also that she got by herself, like every 6 months, a strong diarrhea. And
yeah, that is what the thing. Food actually, Rasa-Rakta Dhadus are even now, even liver disorders also can be developed in certain occasions. You know, Annam Pranaha, that is what when I was introducing this chapter itself, I told you that when Annam is receptible form in the body, that won't make any harm to the body. If it is not acceptable in its form, that may create from beginning, even in the childhood itself, that may develop. Here I have seen that Pajana Deepana with Rakta Shuddhi Aushathas has to be given. For this, you know, for Rakta Shuddhi, Panchatiktakam, you know.
Yes.
These things has to be taken in the elixir form, Arishta form, or also some of the liver tonics are available, or digestive type of drinks are also available, and you don't go for the antibiotics and all.
Yes, she's taking Manyashtadi Kashayam, she's taking Kadira Arishtam as well.
Oh, Kadira Arishtam. It is Manjishtadi Kashayam. How long he is taking?
She's taking only in the morning, I think like
How period of time?
2 months, but only in the morning.
Morning.
Mhm.
In which place you belongs?
Germany.
Germany. So actually, you have to assure yourself that the Pajanam and Deepanam with this is actually you can give pomegranate, pomegranate,
Mhm.
seeds of the pomegranate you can give, and the its shell can be given in takra. The takram, buttermilk.
Yes, yeah.
Buttermilk is the ideal thing for you, and you just add with this nisha, that means tajani, the turmeric powder, and add some bilwam. You boil it and give it. And first, you give preference to the digestive, proper digestion, and after that, you give for the skin, skin complaint. Then all the problem will be. That is what I am telling, that Charaka is. In Charaka, you can see that in Grahani context, he is telling about the Rasadi Dhatu transformation. So Grahani is the main pivotal. He is having pivotal role in digestion. So you have to concentrate on this particular digestive system to maintain proper Agni. Then only the disease will be totally relieved, respiratory as well as the skin.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. And any external treatment? Now she was always.
Whenever you are applying externally, some relief will be there. That is not an ultimate treatment.
But parallel to the internal.
Pardon?
At the same time, when she's doing the internal treatment, also.
You can apply as a simultaneous type of Shadathauda Kridam.
Okay.
You know that Shadathauda Kridam?
Yes,
is it available there?
I have it, yes. Okay, thank you.
Sir, Heike did 20 years of training at AVP in Coimbatore with Krishnakumarji. So she knows all of the medicines. Yeah, many of us trained in Kerala or in Coimbatore, and we are using those medicines in different parts of the world. So we know, yes. So Shatadhauta Gritam is very much available in USA and in many parts of Europe. And Heike has been seeing patients for 20-25 years using Ayurvedic medicines in Germany.
Yes.
I came there some 2-3 years back, Duisenberg University.
Okay.
So I have taken class for the psychiatry and all there in that medical university.
Really?
So I couldn't hear that these type of medicines are available there.
Yes, it's there.
So Germany, in which place you are belong?
In South Germany, at the Lake of Constance border to Switzerland.
Oh, yeah. There also I went Switzerland also. Filippi. I have met Dr. Filippi, who is working for Ayurveda there. In Paris also. Now it's new news for me that all the medicines are available there itself.
Before that, I have imported from AVP, like the last, from 97 onwards, we're importing, but we don't make advertisement for that because it's always a problem. The medicines cannot come as medicines, but only as
that is
and so
actually we can use Navakkarai Kashayam. That is apt for this country because Agni Karma also will do, and along with that Visarpa, and these type of diseases are Visarpa only. So Navakarshikam Panchadiktakam Kashayams will be there. That is which Vaishadya Karani and Ravanani.
Okay. not all medicines we have, but a lot of kashayas and arishtas and gritams and still
So
now.
you got permission from the government now to use for this?
It's not, I can practice in Germany, Ayurveda. I have the permission, but importing the medicines is not as medicines, but only as food supplements or external. So it's not recognized as medicine in Germany and in all other Western countries.
Yeah, that is what I heard.
And so it's still a gray zone at the moment, and it will continue in that way, only that the laws are becoming more and more strict for the importing.
Italy, they have tried much for that. Even Parliament, they have put forward some of the rules, bills, I think.
But still, as medicine, it will not be possible in the next years because it's very, very expensive to make it.
Yeah. That also any other factor.
It's at least 300,000 euros for one medicine only to get it recognized as medicine. And so it's a lot of money and nobody is ready to invest that much of money. Like Krishnakumarji, he has done decades ago with the Jivani product. He went forward, but nobody is having this courage like he is having and is not investing that much money. So it's a dilemma still.
Moscow also, some of the products are available. Some of my students are practicing there. I went there, Moscow Medical University. They also discussed about the medicines and how it can be manufactured. Even minister, involved in that. That is also some 4 or 5 years back. I don't know what is the fate of present level. Even but in academic level, they are giving some Ayurvedic classes and all. Syllabus they have approved.
Yes, courses are getting better and better everywhere in the world. So basic understanding of Ayurveda is there, but what is missing is like the deep knowledge, like you're teaching, like it is there in all this deeper knowledge, like the studying of Charaka and so on. And but the problem is the recognition as medicine.
Actually, that was the mission of our Krishnakumarji.
Yes.
How the real text Ayurveda can be propagated all over the world. He has taken some effort, but unfortunately, not given much strength for him. That is not fulfilled completely. Anyhow, we will try. I think you people can do that.
All together with your help.
All together, yeah. Our age is also becoming, graying. Our hair is more.
But the brain not.
Sir, as you said, if your manobala is there, everything is possible. It doesn't matter what your physical age is. Because today, if you look at the children...
Yeah, yoga is combined together with Ayurveda. That is what Patanjali Yoga Sutra, which I am now seriously going through. So through that, I have seen that many of the Rajo Mohavrada, that is what we have already mentioned. That has to be correctly removed from our mind. Satvika, Sattva dosha, Sattva guna has to be increased. Unveiling the Rajo dosha, Rajo Tamo doshas from the Tattva, then you will be totally bold enough to fight against all other things. You will win the game.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Does anybody else have any questions?
Namaskar, sir.
Yes, Dr. Chetan.
Namaskar, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, in shlok number 31, there is a Koshta Shakha Malayanti Drutatvam Marutasya.
Yeah.
So, what does Acharya mean to say in the word Drutatvam Marutasya for Koshta Shakha Malayanti?
That means the dosha which is vitiated at the brim of the vitiation will be with the help of the vayu that will migrate from the particular ashayas to the shakhas. That is what he is telling. And that hetu pradushana dosha will be there in the shakha if you are not properly intervened. So what happens means we have to get it back to the koshtha and eliminate the vitiated dosha. Then the proper health will be regained for the whole body.
Okay, means there must be a hetu for the vata prakop or the koshtha shakha gati. Is it right, sir?
Koshtha, with the help of vayu and vata prakopa only, it is going outside.
Okay.
Migrating. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
That is Ahidajaranadabi. It is also told that Vyayama Dushmanas Taishnyat Ahidajaranadabi.
Thank you, sir. Sir, in YouTube, there is Dr. Lakshmi Kumar who has mentioned that study of Bhagavad Gita should go along with Ayurveda. Sir, what are your thoughts?
Actually, Bhagavad Gita is the essence of Upanishads. And also it is going along with yoga. That is what I earlier mentioned, that the yoga is also very important for the study of Ayurveda, for attaining the best result. Yoga along with the Ayurveda will make you best result. Actually, Upanishads are thinking about the dishana of the brain. Samhitas thinking about the bodily health. So here the Bhagavad Gita, of course, Bhagavad Gita, some of the chapters, and there itself you know that Annam is mentioned there. Sattva guna, Sattva ahara, Sattviga aharas, Rajo adhika aharas, Tamo adhika aharas, and all these things mentioned there itself. So, study of Bhagavad Gita is very important for an Ayurvedic physician.
Thank you, sir. Anybody has questions? Any more questions? So I think, sir, questions are finished.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us. It has been a pleasure having you. Your experience and your stories and your insight about the current happenings in the world all were an additional morsels of knowledge more than the text that you were teaching us. It was wonderful to have you, sir.
Thank you for the effort you have taken for this program, and expressing my thanks to invited for this program. Thank you, Vanessa.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Dear students, Samhita Tattva Vichara will resume next week. Until then, have a good week.